Hi everyone, and a very warm welcome from beautiful Copenhagen. My name is Nikita Ingratta, and I am so honored to chat to you today about digital customer service and how to make customer service sexy. In hindsight, that might have been a bit of an inappropriate topic name, but let's just have some fun, chat about some cool stuff. So I'm 35 years old. I was born in South Africa and moved to England for 7 years. And about 1 year ago, I moved to Copenhagen here in Denmark. I wanted to be a rocket scientist, so I studied aeronautical engineering at a university in Johannesburg, South Africa. I don't think my personality fits being a scientist though. I also did a couple of certifications on scrum.org and on Scaled Agile as a certified POPM. I was previously at Expedia and Digital, a couple of fantastic places in the UK. I started to freelance for a few years before I left England, and I had Net-a-Porter and Just Eat as some clients, amongst others. Now I'm at Pandora. I head up the digital customer services globally. Of course, we have customer care leads that look after the call center and stuff, but in terms of what we build on our website, and I own Salesforce Service Cloud, the SaaS platform that our agents use. So yeah, that's what I do. A disclaimer, I have been to multiple product events, listened to many talks, and often I find that what these fantastic PMs have been able to achieve, their environment is very different to mine. Every product manager has a different role in the company they're in. Sometimes they're a lot more strategic. Sometimes we are a lot more delivery focused. Maybe we focus more on analysis and BA type role. Maybe we work in SAFe as POs and PMs. So I'm giving you my experience in the environment that I'm in. And we can talk about that a bit more as the presentation goes along. I don't have an MBA in anything associated with customer service, but I've been doing this for more than 10 years in different countries, different companies, with different environments, cultures, org setups, etc. So if I can help you just a tiny bit, then my objective is met. Okay. So I want to talk to you today about why customer service is so relevant, so important within organizations, whether you are an e-com retailer or not. How you can revolutionize the mindset of your management leadership, your peers, the peer PMs, or your stakeholders around customer service, customer care. I'll use these two interchangeably. And lastly, we'll have some key takeaways. And you can find the link to my presentation and this recording as well. I'll share that with you. So we can start with some numbers. Customer care is super important today because it takes 5 times the cost to acquire a new customer than it does to retain an existing customer. You are 60% more likely, 60 to 70%, to sell to an existing customer than to a new customer. So it's quite a lot. And then some statistics on loyalty of customers. They're 5 times more likely to repurchase. They're 5 times more likely to forgive. So in my case, I think that's quite important, especially if we don't meet delivery SLAs. 5 times more likely to forgive, that's a good start. 4 times more likely to refer to us to friends, family, people that they're close to. And lastly, 7 times more likely to try new offers, new programs, pilots, features that you're releasing. What I'm always finding at my current gig at Pandora and my previous clients is that customer care is always just a cost center that we need to chop as much as we can. Here at Pandora, there had been very little transparency on what the product team was building and why we were doing it. And then that led to very little support and backing from the leadership. It was always a struggle to have a place at the manager's table when we're talking about customer care. And with the other PMs, ours was the least sexy product, right? Customer care is always just an afterthought. All the PMs and the checkout flow, building really cool things, focusing on conversion, and customer care should just handle the queries when they come along after the product is live and after the customer has purchased. I also found that the way that the product management for my product was done was quite chaotic, unstructured, very tactical. No vision, no roadmap, no strategic objectives, nothing like that. Very inconsistent experience for the agents. So Pandora is global. We have agents in NAM and EMEA, our biggest markets, and their experience dealing with the customer care queries is quite inconsistent, making reporting of things like the average handling time of a contact or the resolution time of a contact very, very difficult if the processes are so different in the different markets. And always, last on the list there is cheap. Make it cheap, cheap, cheap. Cut costs where you can until your customer blasts you all over social media. And then it's in firefighting mode to try and save that customer. So I want to give you 5 tips. If you are a very seasoned product manager, perhaps you won't find this useful, but it's very basic tips and they are highly effective to going from a cost center product that has very little attention to becoming something that is instrumental in defining how we build features. Okay. The first is understand your product very well. Do very, very humble things. Listen in on customer calls, shadow the agents, read chat transcripts. At Pandora, we have a chatbot named BellaBot, and I often find myself reading the transcripts, trying to understand some patterns in the questions that customers are asking us. Meet and greet with your stakeholders, have some face time, get their view on things, find their vested interest, and what is their opinion on the product, so that you can try to change it over time. And most important is the last point over there, which is what is the cost per contact? I can tell you now, it is critical that you understand this, because once you start developing your data dashboards on contact and you know the cost of a contact, you can have some really, really, really strong arguments to the business to get your way on a couple of things. I'll show you what I mean. So as I mentioned to you before, we use Salesforce Service Cloud as the platform that our customer care agents engage with our customers. And the help pages on the website, so if you go to help.pandora.net, all those pages are underpinned by Service Cloud. So I got my architect and a couple of my lead engineers to build me some simple dashboards. Just to understand, you can see the one on the top left at the bottom of the screen there is just some contact reasons. Apologies, I've had to blur out some of the data. Didn't want to get into trouble. But what I want to show you is, over a period of time for the key markets, my engineers were able to set up some simple dashboards for me. So I could see the reason that customers were contacting us and, have that from highest number of contacts to the lowest. And on the bottom right there, you can see the contacts are split up by medium. Email is, quite frankly, a horrific medium for handling contact. It's hard to measure. One contact may go over multiple days, so very long resolution time. Call is a bit better. You can solve the agent can solve the query while the customer is on the phone, but you can only do one customer at a time, and calls are expensive because of the equipment needed and the training and all that stuff. Live chat is the best in my view. The agents can deal with 3 to 5 contacts simultaneously. It's a much more flexible way for our customers to communicate with us. They can do it during the day while they're working on the side, and especially for Pandora that are Gen Z, they don't really like talking, and email is too slow, so live chat works great. So understand all of this by having some simple metrics and simple dashboards set up. So we spoke about knowing your product. We spoke about setting up some core data. The next is to create your vision. It is beyond critical that you get confidence from your stakeholders if you are trying to recover something like customer service that's only been like this unwanted child before. It's critical that you convey you have a plan, you have a strategy. You can see the vision document that I have here. It's so simple, guys. It's only a sample. Love it, hate it. I don't really mind. What is important is that we create a vision that is easy to understand. Pandora is undergoing a digital transformation. So it is critical that I speak in very tangible terms to the leaders about what I want to achieve for customer care. I've got a vision and 3 objectives. And you can see right at the bottom with the little pink circles are sort of like high-level features that I want to tackle per quarter, per 6 months, that tie up to the objective, which then tie up to the vision. So you're constantly telling the story. Create an artifact that you're going to use day to day to day to day. And that is going to remain consistent over time, and that is your elevator pitch for your product. Tip number 4, create some structure. It is absolutely paramount that product managers are well organized, okay, and create structure around your product. Always be asking why. Why are we doing this? I'll give you an example. Here at Pandora, we have strategic level projects or initiatives that are to be completed. One of those that we needed to deliver was severely conflicting with the average handling time metric that I have. So a lot of back and forth with that program team, with the leadership of why are we doing it? The agents need to use multiple third-party platforms to solve one customer query. The handling time goes through the roof. The complexity for the agent goes through the roof, and there are many points of failure. Rather have everything in Service Cloud that the agents use day to day, hour to hour, minute to minute, and bring everything in there and let the agents use that to serve the customers. Eventually we won the battle with a very MVP version, but my point is constantly and ruthlessly defend your objectives, defend your product vision, and ask why. Okay. Have a roadmap. I'll show you the roadmap. Oh, you can see the roadmap here that I have for Pandora. Again, it's only a sample, but to give you an idea. We can start on the extreme left. You can see I've got little explosion icons for things that have been released. It is exceptional for team morale and motivation when they can see retrospectively or reflectively what they have achieved, and you can show this to your leaders what your team has achieved. I've also got my 3 objectives over there. You can see in 2020 and 2021 Q1 things that we had pegged for the roadmap and the objectives that we were hoping to target for each. It's a very clear indication of why we are doing things. And you saw a few slides ago I had a few slides ago, I had my 3 objectives and key results. And all the things we do, try to tie up to those objectives and key results. And if they don't, put it on your roadmap, color-coded in pink like I've done, or whatever color, to show that some of these things need to be reevaluated. And if they're not really adding any value to your objectives and key results. From this roadmap, create a well-structured backlog. For instance, we use Jira at Pandora. I've got all of my epics in priority order, and I've got all the tickets associated to the epics, so the team knows what is coming up. As we are approaching the last couple of tasks or user stories for an epic, they know exactly what is coming up next, so we can start the analysis, we can start the ticket breakdown, and we can start looking at some tagging and metrics for those new things. So always keep it fresh and relevant, very well defined. Okay, constantly review with you guys. And lastly, do lots of team PR. As product managers, we are supposed to be so proud, so fiercely proud of our product, and we're supposed to be evangelists of it. If we're not excited by it, we can't expect anybody else to be, and then we cannot expect anybody else to have faith in us and give us extra budget for resources or upskilling. So you need to be, an evangelist. I run demos all the time. I set up the demo, we have a theme, and I get my team to run it. Many times the test environment does not work, or the test data does not work, but we crack a joke. The point is to get some face time with the stakeholders and show people what we are doing. And it builds a lot of trust for the team. Share the data, show the impact of reducing contact or building automation capabilities and stuff, show the impact that has for the organization. And lastly, constantly meet with the other PMs and convey the impact on customer care, customer service of the features that are being released. So those are the 5 tips that I had. I get that it's vague and very high level. I just don't want to be talking to you for an hour. Hit me up on LinkedIn and we can have a virtual coffee and a chat, and I can tell you more. I've done so many different things, created a DevOps team, set up automation test capabilities. We now drive a lot of the roadmap items and stuff ourselves rather than, just being very operational. So I've been able to achieve quite a lot for the team, and I really want to tell you more about it if you are interested. So the key takeaways is, understand the importance of good customer care, know your product, set up your data, make sure you have your clear vision, clear objectives, where you're going with your product, be organized, and lastly, be the product, because you are the product. You can find the link to the presentation by clicking this, the recording link as well, and I look forward to connecting with some of you on LinkedIn. Thanks a lot.